The magic island of Euclidia in the South Pacific Ocean is a strange place, and strange things are going on near the island. When Jerry and Joan went out in the Euclidean submarine to capture Johnson's rescue boat, they expected thrills and danger, but were certainly not prepared for what has actually happened to them. The submarine came to the surface by standing on end in the water, and Johnson's boat came along right on schedule. But from there, the thing went all wrong. First, Johnson's boat did not stop, but went tearing along toward the location of the island. And next, Captain Bradford in the Euclidean radio room cannot get a message from Johnson. We look into the submarine as it races along after Johnson's boat.
Gee whiz, Joan, but my arm hurts from that magnetism holding him in one position so long.
My arms hurt also, Jerry, but we must not complain. Things could be so much worse.
I'll say they could. Johnson's boat could have been sunk back there. Then we'd have had something real to worry about.
Yes, and we know Mother and the captain are all right, for we heard their voices in the control chamber. And the captain's message to Johnson showed that...
Funny thing about that, though, why didn't Johnson answer?
I think his radio must have... Oh, Jerry, look, my arms.
Huh? Oh, boy, we can move again.
You may move enough to come up forward to the control section at once, both of you.
Better let me hang on to your arm, Joan. It's sort of hard to walk on this narrow steel thing after sitting there so stiff all this time.
I like to have you hold my arm, Jerry.
Gee, do you?
Yes, then I can help you if you start to fall down.
Oh, what are you talking about?
You will sit over there, Cleostra, and you here, Hall. We will attempt to reach Johnson with a message.
Well, to tell you the truth, Commander, I can't figure what Johnson's up to when he refused to answer that message of the captain's.
It is a very peculiar situation. Perhaps Johnson was afraid of a trap when Captain Bradford said he was speaking from the Euclidean voice transmission chamber.
But did not Johnson start to send a message and then stop?
Yeah, we heard his call letters, heard them repeated. Then the set went dead. Maybe it was your set here, Commander.
It could not be the transmission apparatus here. Mistakes are never made by Euclideans. This equipment is perfect.
Maybe Johnson figured he'd better, lay low until he was sure what he was getting into.
Naturally, Jerry, you have only stated the obvious.
Cleostra is correct. Your answer betrays no particular intelligence on your part. And if that is all you have to offer, we will proceed.
Proceed with what?
Our attempts to contact Johnson and warn him.
Warn him of what? He's heading right for the island, and that's where you want him to get, isn't it?
Precisely, but the island is submerged. He might miss it.
Golly whiskers, that's right.
And if the island should be rising out of the water just as Mr. Johnson's boat passed over it, his boat would be wrecked on the top of the island.
Precisely.
I wish you wouldn't say that precisely thing all the time. It sounds like G-47.
Is there anything about G-47 you find objectionable?
Oh, no. He's swell. Yeah, I like him fine. Only he kind of scares me with those surprises he's always springing. It's like finding a snowbank in the desert.
Oh, Jerry, please be careful. Remember that the commander may do as she pleases.
Okay, Joan. All right, Commander. Well, what do you want me to do?
Call Johnson. Advise him of the true state of affairs here and on the island. Ask him why he ran by us, and warn him to lay to before he reaches the position of the island.
Then what?
The generators will be kept active until this is settled. The apparatus is ready. There is the switch. You may operate it. Remember, close it before addressing any communication to me. Proceed.
Careful, Jerry.
I know. J-12C. Calling J-12C. Jerry Hall on Euclidean submarine to J-12C. Hello, J-12. Hello, J-12. Jerry Hall for Captain Bradford. Calling Johnson on J-12C. Hello, J-12. Hello, J-12. Oh, well, that doesn't do much good, does it?
You will wait a few seconds for possible reply, then repeat.
Look, can I ask you a question, Commander?
You may ask a question.
I have told you about your speech, Jerry. You must learn.
Oh, well, golly whiskers. Can or may or whatever you want. What I want to know is if it's all right for me to ask you a question.
It is, if the question is proper.
Oh, it's a slick question.
Jerry, the commander will not understand slick.
Okay. It's a clever and vital inquiry as to the nature of a certain phenomena existing in the present situation. How am I doing, babe?
The major portion of your outburst was acceptable. To what do you refer?
Well, Magic Island, Euclidia. It's a secret from the rest of the world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Then how about all this stuff I'm putting out into the air over this radio now? calling Johnson and signing this boat and telling him all about the island. Well, and all that.
These waves do not reach beyond the island and are strictly directional.
You mean those waves go out only in a straight line to the island and then stop there?
Precisely.
But don't the signals get weak at the end of that distance?
No, Jerry. When one of your motor cars runs just so far on one charge of gasoline, does it run slower because the gasoline is nearly gone?
Well, of course not. It just runs till the gas is gone, then stops suddenly, all at once.
So it is with the Euclidean voice transmission beam.
An excellent explanation, Cleostra. You have done well for so young a Euclidean student. Your question is answered now in terms which your limited mentality may grasp, I trust.
Yep, just skip me. Act like I'm not here.
But you are here, Jerry.
Oh, thanks for noticing it. I was kind of doubtful there for a minute.
Enough of this. Send another message to Johnson, Hall.
Okay, what'll I tell him?
Get him first. Silence, Cleostra. Transmit, Hall.
J12C, calling J12C. Jerry Hall at J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C. Jerry Hall at Johnson. J12C, calling J12C. Calling J12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12C. Oh, it's no use.
It would seem to be hopeless. I will take over the communication. Silence, both of you. S1 to G47. Commander S1 to G47. S1 reporting.
Ready, G47. Report, S1.
Unable to raise Johnson boat. Your answer checks the proper operation of my beam. We are running a true southerly course to the island. Johnson's boat on surface 8 knots in advance this boat. Cannot raise signal from him. Advise proceed.
What is Johnson's speed?
Stand by. SE1.
Yes, Commander.
Check speed of boat on surface 8 knots advance of this position.
Speed reading is discharge vibrations constant at 35 knots.
Excellent. That is all.
Very good, Commander.
S1 to G47. Speed of surface boat constant at 35 knots.
Correct, Commander. You will proceed on your course
J12C to
exactly.
Captain Bradford on Euclidia. J12C to Bradford.
Proceed, J12C.
We'll talk only to Bradford.
Very well. Captain Bradford will take over.
Hello, J12C. Go ahead, Johnson. Bradford to J12. Go ahead, J12C.
My relief operator has logged a lot of messages here that sound mad. Stories about the island of Euclidia and a transmission room on the island from which your messages have been coming. What's it all about?
Everything just as messages said. Jerry and Joan aboard sub which tried to board you. Why didn't you stop for it?
Did not see it. We were all down in the hold trying to stop leak in the oil tanks. Leaking badly. Think we'll run out of fuel before we reach position of island. Making 35 knots now. 55 miles from island. Fuel supply will not last more than 25 miles at present rate of loss. Also danger from fire. Have you any instructions?
Take all possible precautions against fire. Run as far as fuel will allow. Then lay to and wait for aid. Advise exact position when you stop. Acknowledge.
Run till fuel exhausted, then lay to for aid. Advise exact position then. Is that all? How about a G47?
That is all.
Okay, Johnson, that is all.
Commander S1.
Yes, G47.
Proceed at your present speed. Orders later. That is all.
Present speed. Orders later. That is all.
Boy, are we going places and hearing things.
It is all very wonderful, is it not, Jerry?
I think you are learning a great many things of the efficiency and accuracy of the Euclideans. Are you not, Hall?
Oh, sure. You got a lot of swell scientific wrinkles, all right. But nobody on Euclidean knows anything about being a human being or having any fun.
You mean pleasure, relaxation? Is that what you call fun?
Sure, have a good time. All this scientific work all the time's no good. Not good for you either.
We have ample recreation on Euclidia.
I have told Jerry about our general rest periods when we may do foolish mathematical and electrochemical problems to suit our pleasure.
Yeah, I heard all about that idea of a good time, but I don't want any of it.
What is your idea of relaxation?
Let me ask you one first. Were you born on Euclidia?
I was. I was the first child born on the island, and I am the chosen commander of the submarine commanders.
Isn't that wonderful, Jerry, to command this boat?
Swell. But what do you know about parties, dances, going to picture shows, skating, ball games, and, well, what do you know about any of that?
It all sounds very useless. We will not tolerate those things after Euclidia takes over the world.
But there is one thing very nice that I have seen, Commander.
What is that?
My mother's clothes. Oh, they're lovely.
Are they of Euclidean cloth?
You bet they're not.
Then they will not keep out light and sound rays. Anyone can see what you are doing and hear all you say.
Yeah, but in our world, people don't go around snooping into other people's business.
You mean you say and do as you please? There is no one to tell you how to spend your time, and your clothes are better than ours?
Oh, yes, Commander. Much nicer. I am sure my mother would let you look at some of her clothes if you would visit the yacht when we get back to the island.
I will. Silence. Such talk is stupid. You two remain here. I have business with the engineer in the bow.
Hey, Joan, I got an idea.
Yes, Jerry?
That commander, I've got her wondering about this Euclidia thing.
I do not understand, Jerry.
Well, Captain Bradford said that he thought we'd find a lot of these Euclideans were just prisoners and would be on our side if they saw a real chance to get to our world and be free from all this.
But, Jerry, the commander is a person of power and position on Euclidia. When Euclidia takes over the world, she will command all the fleets of the world.
Maybe. But she's a girl, a 22-year-old girl. And when you started to talk about your mother's dress being so fine and all, she pretty near forgot to act like a machine.
I'm afraid you are mistaken, Jerry. You will be disappointed if you look to the commander for any help.
Look, Joan, the only reason we can't plan to get away from all this is because the Euclideans know everything we say and do. That's right?
Yes, Jerry, and they always will.
No, they won't. When that commander left here just now, she switched off these microphones and amplifiers in this boat. And she did that so we could have a chance to talk. Get it, Joan? We can talk. Nobody can hear us. And the
The Euclidean submarine bearing Jerry and Joan is plowing steadily southward toward Euclidia, the magic island of the South Seas. The submarine set out to capture Johnson's boat, but Johnson ran past them and is continuing on toward the island. His last radio message telling of an accident to his boat. Oil tanks leaking. May not have enough fuel to make port. With all this in mind, the submarine is following Johnson closely, so they may pick him up and tow him to port. Mrs. Gregory and Captain Tex Bradford have watched and heard all this from the control room in the submerged island, but they can see and hear nothing of the submarine now, as the commander has shut off the power, and Jerry is telling Joan he thinks they've found a friend.
I am afraid you are mistaken, Jerry. These Euclideans are too happy with their power and with their dream of conquering the world.
But I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. Now listen, Joan, when that woman commander left us here in the central control section and went up forward there to talk to that engineer, she cut off all the gadgets that pick up our voices and carry them all over the sub, didn't she?
Yes, Jerry, but that was only done to conserve the power. If this submarine will have to tow a crippled boat to the island, all the power will be needed to operate the towing magnet.
That's all okay, and it gave her a swell excuse. But I'm telling you, she wanted us to have a chance to plan something about what we're to do when we get to Johnson's boat.
Even if that were true, Jerry, there is nothing we could do of any value. We will tow Mr. Johnson to Euclidia. His boat will be captured with all on board, and Captain Bradford's formula will fall into G-47's hands.
Oh, gee, I forgot the formula for a minute. I guess there's nothing we could do about that, is there?
You said Mr. Johnson had some of those clever little homing pigeons on his boat. Could he not send a message by one of them? Send the formula on to someone else?
No chance. The pigeons on his boat are trained to go to your mother's boat, and they'd only end up on the island again with the formula. Johnson might just as well take the formula in himself and hand it over to G-47.
Let me warn you of one thing, Jerry. Do not try to do more than you have permission to do. You will find the commander and the engineer very swift in their punishment.
Gosh, that engineer is big enough and ugly enough to get a job scaring babies anytime. But I got an idea. The skipper's going to give us a break.
I am afraid, Jerry, that idea will get you into serious trouble.
I'll take a chance on it when the time comes. But right now, I won't act like I noticed anything funny about the way she acted.
Be quiet now. She is returning.
She looks like she means business, too.
I think you were wrong, Jerry.
I see that you at least had intelligence enough to obey instructions and remain as you were. I have given the engineer orders to prepare the stern electromagnets for towing Johnson's boat when his fuel is exhausted.
May I ask you something, Commander?
You may, if the question is within reason.
You use explosive gas for power on this sub, don't you?
Correct. Those lockers are full of cubes of the solidified gas, which, when placed in the discharge tubes and vaporized, explode continuously with tremendous and noiseless power.
Thanks. That's swell. But what bothers me is how you get power to run that big generator, and whether the power is going to come from to run magnets heavy enough to tow a big boat.
The generators are run by water pressure. There are minute tubes throughout the outer shell of this boat, parallel to the axis. The natural rush of water through these tubes is utilized by turbines in the bow and stern. They drive the generators.
The storage batteries alone would handle the generators for an hour. Is that not so, Commander?
Precisely.
But gee, don't you lose a lot of speed by having those tubes pick up all that water?
The loss is 15%, negligible compared to the amount of current generated.
Boy, oh boy, this is really a submarine.
You will see the magnets working very shortly.
Are we close to Johnson's boat?
It is difficult to get the exact range now. His motors have stopped.
Then he has run out of fuel. We may come up to him very soon, then.
Will you take this sub up onto the surface to tow him?
This is a submarine. It has never been on the surface, except as you saw it standing perpendicularly to act as a conning tower.
But how can you hook the magnets on his boat?
He has been instructed by G-47 to drop an anchor over his bow. We will pick up the anchor with our stern magnets and remain in at least 2 fathoms of water.
What will our speed be, Commander, towing that heavy boat?
There is no emergent need of speed. We will not attempt more than 15 knots.
Golly whiskers. I think that's pretty fast for a submarine to tow a 100-foot cruiser with a magnet on its anchor.
It will not be difficult.
There is a discoloration in the water, Commander.
Excellent, SE-1. We will observe it closely. Maintain speed and course.
Maintain speed and course. Due south. 25 knots.
Now we will check on this discoloration in the water.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not going to open a hole in the wall of this thing, are you?
Jerry, be quiet.
Certainly I am, but have no fear. You will not drown. If your powers of observation were worthy, you would see that I am opening a small slide in the inner shell. So. Then a mere slit in the outer shell. And there we have a small stream of water passing through that channel and continuing harmlessly out of the stern turbine exhaust.
Gee whiz.
Is it not wonderful, Jerry?
It sure is.
Yes. So SE-1 was right. There is a distinct discoloration in the water. Oil. Fuel oil for diesel motors. We are following exactly in the wake of Johnson's leaking fuel tanks. There. The volume of oil is increasing. Good. We are near the boat.
That's sure keen. But you left me behind on one thing.
Did you not understand how the water passed through there without entering the compartment, Jerry?
Oh, sure, I understood that. But where did that oil come from?
Are you being deliberately stupid? You have heard me say it came from the fuel tanks on the boat we are following.
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean that the top of this sub is 2 fathoms below the surface of the water. Well, how did the oil get down 12 feet in the water? Where I come from, oil floats until it scatters. This is a steady stream.
The question surprises me with its intelligence. Had you been more observant, you would have noticed SE-1 has raised a slender feeler tube in the bow. This reaches the surface and turns a jet of surface water through the channel I just opened.
Do you have anything as wonderful as that in your world, Jerry?
If we do, I can't think of it right now.
Silence. I must speak to G-47.
Gee, Joan, I was...
Silence, I said. That means absolute silence. S1 reporting to G-47. S1 to G-47.
You may proceed.
Boat we are pursuing has stopped. Motors silent. Oil drift on surface here indicates we are nearing boat. Prepared to tow it to Euclidia. Special orders?
None. Proceed. That is all. G-47.
Gee, we're going to pick up Johnson's boat now.
Naturally.
You will find the method of attaching the magnetic stern fin to the anchor of the captive boat highly illuminative, Jerry.
You mean I'll get a kick out of it?
There will be no kicking here. The language of the stable is out of place in this well-ordered machine.
He is just trying to have some fun with me, Commander. Jerry acts as if he didn't understand big words.
It seems to be no effort for him to misunderstand anything.
Oh, I guess you're right, Skipper. I'm sorry, Commander.
SE-1, prepare to tow Johnson boat.
Prepare to tow Johnson boat. Has boat been advised to have bow anchor out?
That has been done. You will maneuver position. I will personally attend to securing anchor with stern magnetic fin. Maintain speed and course until boat sighted.
Very good, Commander.
You two may witness this operation if you care to accompany me to the stern section.
Oh, golly whiskers. That's swell, thanks.
Hull. What is the meaning of this?
What?
Have you no manners? If you are not cognizant of the accepted tactics in the presence of a superior, you might at least observe the common decencies.
Hey, well, what have I done now?
You started to precede the commander, Jerry. Oh, Jerry, I am so disappointed in you.
I'm sorry, Joan. Golly, I was so excited I forgot to. Well, I'm sorry, Commander.
It may be overlooked this time, as the damage is purely rhetorical. But let that be a lesson to you, Hall. There is a place for everyone in the Euclidean scheme of things. Your place is at all times secondary to that of the commander.
Right.
You may follow me to the stern.
Boy, can she be tough.
I told you, Jerry, you made a mistake about her.
I guess I did.
You will sit there, Hall. Remember that the magnetic paint on your hands and shoes is still active.
Okay, I won't get funny.
You there, Cleostro.
Thank you, Commander.
You will remain silent. You may see all that is of interest through the transparent shell.
Boat dirty head. Light draft. We will clear it.
Excellent. Retard speed to stop stern fin directly below bow anchor of that boat.
Retarded. Losing speed. 20 knots. 15 knots. 10.
Full reverse tubes.
Full reverse tubes. 5 knots. Stationary, Commander.
Very well. Hold it so with stabilizers. I will project the stern magnetic fin. What is this, SE-1?
Yes, Commander.
You have contributed an atrocious piece of navigation. You have driven about 3 fathoms beyond the anchor from that boat.
Sorry, Commander. Reversing at once. Yeah, 3 fathoms.
That is satisfactory.
Gee whiz. The poor guy misses an anchor chain 18 feet with the stern of the boat 80 feet from him, and he gets the dickens for it.
That was a serious error, Jerry.
Not in my country it wouldn't be.
Silence. Stabilize as you are, SE-1.
Stationary, Commander.
Very well. Observe closely, Hall. This lever. Move it to this position, so. The fin is extended. It just touches the anchor.
Boy, that's slick figuring. And the engineer moved mighty fast, too, when he gave you those other 18 feet on the reverse.
Things must move swiftly to have a value here, Jerry.
Precisely. Ready to absorb the contact shock?
Ready.
Very well. What is the weight of that boat, Hall?
Gee, I don't know.
I should have known you wouldn't know anything of value.
I have never heard the tonnage referred to.
Then I must estimate it. The generator's full, so. 3 circuits of magnets will handle the load easily. You may feel a slight shock as the magnets in the fin engage the anchor, so.
Gee whiz. Did you see that thing grab that anchor, Joan?
Yes, Jerry, I have seen it before.
Silence. Ready, SE-1.
Ready, Commander.
Full speed ahead to break inertia, then retract to 10 knots for cruising.
Right.
Very good, SE-1. Set your regulator for 10 knots. I will attend the current supply. Same course. Proceed.
Very good, Commander.
Boy, we're really pulling that big boat 10 knots an hour now?
I hardly think yet, Jerry.
It should take about 30 seconds to attain speed.
Can I use the radio now? We can talk to Johnson easy when we're this close together.
You are entirely too close to Johnson. I will take no chances with you, Hall. Remain exactly as you are.